Jomsborg was a semi-legendary Viking stronghold at the southern coast of the Baltic Sea, that existed between the 960s and 1043. Its inhabitants were known as Jomsvikings. Jomsborg's exact location, or its existence, has not yet been established, though it is often maintained that Jómsborg was somewhere on the islands of the Oder estuary. Lauritz Weibull dismissed it as a legend. Location: Jómsborg is often thought to be identical with the present-day town of Wohlen on the southeastern tip of the Isle of Wohlen, probably located at Silberberg Hill north of the town. In the early Middle Ages, modern Wohlen was the site of a multi-ethnic emporium. The Nordic sagas used Jómsborg exclusively, while medieval German histories used Jumna or Julien with the alternate names, some of which may be spelling variants: Vimna, Uimne, Jumneta, Jumnem, Julinum, Uineta, Veneta, and Vineta. In 1931–32, Pomeranian historian Adolf Hofmeister suggested, through comparison of the events reported by the different chronicles, that all these terms describe the same place, which is at or near the modern town of Wohlen. However, this is by no means universally accepted. Professor and historian Stephen Fanning writes, the Trelleborg-type fortresses of Denmark have been taken to be actual examples of Jómsborg-style camps of such warriors, and Wohlen in Poland was believed to be the actual Jómsborg. However, all such attempts to locate Jómsborg or encampments of the Jomsvikings have failed, leading many to doubt that Jomsvikings ever existed outside of literature. Quote, according to Vladislav Filipowiak, there are several dated sources which attest to the presence of a company of armed Vikings at the end of the 10th century in Wohlen, who may have been installed there as mercenaries by the Polish king Bolesław Krobry. Other theories see Jómsborg in the northwest of nearby Usedom Island, on lands now submerged. The small islands in this area are remnants of a long stretch of land between Usedom and Rügen, which fell victim to storm floods in the early 14th century. Suspected locations in this area of the Veritas grounds between the petty islands of Rudin and Grefswalder and the Peenemund Shoals. While Viking Age jewelry has been found at the site, archaeological evaluation of these theories has not yet been possible. The fortress, according to the Neatlinger Saga and Fag Skinner, Jómsborg was built by the Danish king Harald Bluetooth in the 960s. The Jomsviking saga mentions Danish Viking Palnatoki as its founder. In medieval records, Jómsborg is described as a fortress with a harbour. The harbour was overseen by a stone tower mounted with catapults, built on an arch spanning over the harbour entrance, which could be closed by an iron gate. According to the oldest records, the harbour had space for 3 ships. Later records give a capacity of up to 360 ships. According to the Heimskringla, Jómsborg was destroyed in 1043 by Dani-Norwegian king Magnus the Good. The fortress was burned down, and many of the inhabitants were killed. Jomsvikings. The Jómsborg Vikings were composed of selected warriors, adhered to a special codex, and were loyal only to the leader. Most records list as Jarl of Jómsborg, Singvold, son of petty king Strut Harald of then Danish Scania. Singvold died sometime before 1010. In 1009, many Jomsvikings left Jómsborg and followed Singvold's brothers Herring and Thorkel et al. To England, where they became the nucleus of Cnut the Great's Thingmanahuskarls. The Kermsen disc, a golden disc bearing the name of Harald Bluetooth and Jómsborg, appeared in Sweden in autumn 2014. The disc, also called the Kermsen disc, is made of high gold content and has a weight of 25–23 grams. On the obverse there is a Latin inscription, and on the reverse there is a Latin cross with 4 dots surrounded by an octagonal ridge. The inscription reads, plus Harald CVRMSVN plus Rex ADTANER plus Con plus JVMN plus Iv Alden plus, and translates as Harald Gormson, King of Danes, Scania, Jomsborg, Town Aldenburg. It is assumed that the disc was a part of a Viking hoard found in 1840 in the Polish village Wikowo near the town of Wolan. The disc was rediscovered in 2014 by an 11-year-old schoolgirl who found it in an old casket and then brought it to school. The Gormson disc underwent metallurgical analysis in June 18, 2015 at the University of Lund, Sweden. The analysis showed that the alloy has a gold content ranging between 83.3% to 92.8%, according to a theory in an article in the magazine Siden Saxo written by a Danish editor and archivist Stefan Harpso. The disc may have been created around year 1100 as a symbolic ornament by missionaries around Jómsborg and Wikowo. There is a possibility that the missionaries canonized Harald Bluetooth according to the theory in the article. Harpso assumes that the letter J in the inscription JVMN is a real J and not the letter I, and that the inscription JVMNCIV Alden should be interpreted as Jómsborg in the bishopric Oldenburg. These assumptions result in a dating interval of the Gormson disc between 1050 to 1125, as the letter J does not exist in written language before it shows up in Middle High German by year 1050, and as Jómsborg became an own bishopric in 1125. Swedish archaeologist Sven Rosborn has a theory where the disc could have been created by a Frankish monk in connection with Harald Bluetooth's death. In Jómsborg, historical events. Harald Bluetooth died at Jómsborg in 985–86. Styrbjorn the Strong and a force of Jomsvikings departed from Jómsborg to reclaim the Swedish throne from Erik the Victorious, yet were defeated in Fyrisvellir near Gamla Uppsala in the late 980s. Sweyn Forkbeard and a force of Jomsvikings departed from Jómsborg to eliminate Jarl Håkon Sigurdsson of Norway, but were defeated in the Battle of Hjörungavara. Olaf I of Norway and a Jomsviking contingent departed from Jómsborg for the Battle of Svolda in 999 or 1000 AD. Related reading. Edison, E. R. Styrbjorn the Strong, ISBN 978-0816677559. Halldórsson, Olaf, Danish Kings and the Jomsvikings in the Greatest Saga of Olaf Tryggvason, ISBN 978-0903521475. Hollander, Lee M. The Saga of the Jomsvikings, ISBN 978-0292776234. Jones, Gwynne, History of the Vikings, ISBN 978-0192801340. Kunkel, Otto, Carl A. Wild, Jumna, Vanita, Jomsborg, Julian, Wallin. Schmidt, Roderick, Das Historische Pommern.